Bury my shell at Wounded Knee.
Do you have this shit open? Can you hear the song?
I haven't opened it, but maybe... Okay, I can hear the song on the screen, but not on my mic.
You know what song it is?
Mute it again.
Nicely done, AJ. Nicely done, amigo.
That's Sunset Riders.
Sunset Riders. That was the bait. That was the bait, and you fell for it, Deal.
I know, I saw the chat just a minute ago.
AJ got it.
Yeah.
Bury my shell at Wounded Knee. Oh god, I have a ton of fucking echoes
Good
as
time.
usual.
Of course they ripped it off.
It's probably hella loud too. This song is so good. What's up, internet? It's Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. I don't want to turn this song off because I'm loving it right now, but I'll turn it off. How's everybody doing, internet? We have a special guest, Beal.
Hey,
What's
my
up,
name is
Beal? How's it going, dude?
It's going pretty good.
Now, I gotta see, you know, this is a new face. The internet, I know you guys are a little concerned. Who is this guy? Where's Ricky? So let me introduce you properly to BL so you know exactly what a legend he is. Now, Evolution 2000 and my history with Beal goes way back. Back 10 years ago in the days of the Zot Zone arcade from UCLA. I don't know when he started playing, nor do I give a shit. But back in the Soul Calibur 2 days, he was, other than Tidy Whitey, he was the only good player that came out of that arcade. Actually, Ice Cold Edge came out of that arcade too. So I gotta say, Ice Cold Edge, he moved to Texas. But the Zot Zone was home to these three guys, basically. And his greatest accomplishment, which is the most legendary of all accomplishments, really, is in Evolution 2004 in Soul Calibur 2. Beal, you placed top 8, am I right?
I placed top 5.
Top 5, I apologize. Top 5.
Yeah.
So you went into top 8 in winners?
No, I went in top 8 in losers.
Okay, and remind me, the legendary match, was it against Sound Nemesis?
That was against Sound Nemesis.
Okay.
This was the run back. He was actually the one that sent me to losers.
Oh, okay. So he filled the cavities in my story. So basically, Sound Nemesis put BL in losers. The Double Jeopardy match was in top 8 on the big screen at Evolution 2004. BL goes up, sits down against Sound Nemesis to play. During his match, BL is so nervous that he throws up into his own mouth, fills his mouth with vomit, but hangs on to it the whole match, finishes the match, and then fucking swallows it. That is the most legendary story. You might as well have won that tournament.
I should have won.
No, you did win, basically, is what I'm saying. You are the true champion of Soul Calibur 2 at Evolution 2004. That is a memory I'll never forget.
I was holding it tight to my chest before everyone else was holding it.
Gross. So unbelievable. Yeah, however, internet, you guys don't really know Beal too well. Beal is one of those. He is definitely one of those. If you haven't watched him stream, you should check it out. I mean, you won't have a boner for weeks. You will be flaccid after this shit. Beal, what do you even stream? What's your Twitch channel and what do you stream?
I'm on twitch.tv/BLBeal, and I stream. Right now I'm streaming a pigeon dating sim.
A pigeon dating simulator. And the best thing about Beal's stream, I keep telling him he needs to take off his shirt during the stream, but the best thing about this guy's stream is he narrates, he reads everything for you, which I love because I don't like reading, but he also narrates it like a book on tape. You know, so he's like, and then Samantha said, "Don't ever try that." You know, he's doing all the voices and shit. It's really quite peculiar, I have to say, but entertaining, and I would recommend it. So check that out.
It too.
You said Twitch BL Beal?
Yeah, BLBL.
All right, all right. So before we get into all the stuff we're gonna talk about today, of course, Soul Calibur came out, HD Online. We're gonna talk about that. I have a couple things I want to mention. First of all, last week I announced the whole ATP store sale on the Korean sticks. And, when I talked to Mark about this, we were kind of like, we don't know if it'll go well. Let's try 4 sticks, whatever. And it went swimmingly. Shockingly, literally on last Thursday night, before the end of the night, all 4 of those Korean sticks sold. I already shipped all 4 of them out. One of them went all the way to Finland. And so, yeah, 4 people got their hands on those, and I noticed that a lot of people were saying, after they were sold out, a lot of people were saying, oh, man, what happened? We missed out. So I talked to Markman again, and chances are that we're going to get another set of at least something. I don't know what we're going to get. So keep your eyes on that. Another thing is, I talked to Andy from ADARC, and he also mentioned that sounds like a decent idea. Let me see what we can do about getting you some deals on some ADARC sticks. So very, very kind of both of those guys to support this stream and provide us with, solid deals for fans of Avoiding the Puddle. That's very kind of them. I really appreciate that. Another thing I wanted to mention is that on my YouTube channel, I've been uploading a shitload of Soul Calibur 2 HD online content. I just did 3 tutorials today. They're not really that pro, you know me. I just turn that shit on and talk. But if you're interested in learning how to play Chai Shanghua, Nightmare, or Ivy, I did those tutorials today. They're going to be on my YouTube channel by the end of the night. And that pretty much covers everything I think that I had to get off my chest before we get things going. So before we talk about Soul Calibur HD Online, Beal, you were going to, before the show started, he said like, so he came up to me, he's like, hey, Eris, what do you want to talk about on the show? Do you have like an outline? I was like, outline? What the fuck do you mean outline? So he said, well, because I wrote some stuff down, like if you want to maybe go over some of these things that I wrote down, we might be able to talk about them on the show. And I said, okay, what do you got in mind? So he started talking, and I thought to myself, why the fuck would I do that before the show if I'm going to do it on the show? So Beal, what's going on? he wrote stuff down that we'd like to talk about. Let's hear it. What's the news, Beal? Let's hear the news.
Let's talk about current events first. Yeah. So early today, they had actually had the Killer Instinct tournament in San Diego. I'll put the link on there for Facebook. It was actually pretty interesting. They actually had live streamed, and I actually watched all of it. But the prizes is what makes it crazy, because the first place prize gets an Xbox One, the whole launch library, and a year of Xbox Live.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Meanwhile,
wait a minute. Launch library means all the games that come out. How many games are there? Is that like 3 games? Pilot Wings and Mario 64 or what?
Actually, I'm not sure exactly how many games they have, but it's around at least 10, I think.
This tournament already happened?
Yeah, it was happened earlier today.
Oh, okay.
Or it might be going on right now. But I believe it started at 6.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
But yeah, what I was saying was that the second place winner didn't get the Xbox One, but they still got the launch library and the 1 year of Xbox Live, and a $1,000 gift card.
So it's better to get second place than first place?
That's what it seems like right now from looking at the prize list.
It's like tournaments are being designed to be colluded these days. Second place prize is better than the first place prize?
I would expect some collusion, or whoever's going for second place would be trying to lose so bad.
Grand finals are going to be the dopest shit, dude. They're both trying to lose. That's tight. All right. I'm liking this so far. You're kicking the shit out of Rixta so far. Go ahead. You proceed.
Yeah, I also posted a link to the Xbox controller they were giving away at the thing too.
Look at this guy with links in the chat room and shit. All right. Let me put my feet up. All right, Bill, proceed.
In other news, the PS4, everyone's streaming right now, but one of the biggest complaints is that you can't capture and archive the stream. There's no archive option. But someone actually discovered that if you use an HDMI to component converter, you're able to actually save your archive. So let me put up the Prima Games link to that. So.
Unbelievable, Bill. Can I be the guest on your show? you know, why not? You're way better at this than me.
You can do some voices.
Go on. Okay, got the links and shit. Interesting news. Anything else going on, Bill?
Um, Not much. I mean, if you're into MMA, Fedor finally like popped up back up in the news.
What's
There's a
up with
picture of him.
Fedor?
Oh, he's doing like I have no idea, but he's in some foreign Asian country. And if you click the picture, you'll see he's dressed very, very nicely.
Sick, sick. All right.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
he's
is
like
that
a
does
like
that
creative
cut
soul
today's
fighter.
news? Does that cover basically what's going on these days?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like
Let's
weekend
see.
update and shit.
Yeah, I think that's all I got right now.
Okay, impressive.
So,
Are you interested in PS4? I know every time a game comes out, BL is on it. Like he has two versions of it and shit. So, well, are you on the new generation? Or are you not ready yet?
usually, whenever the new generation comes out, I usually wait before I purchase it, only because the first generation systems usually have issues. Like
Mm-hmm.
the PS3 had some heating issues, the Xbox 360 had the red ring of death.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm basically waiting it out, and usually when you wait it out, there's usually sales as well, because Black Friday is coming up, and there's actually a bunch of bundles out already.
Dude, you know Mussolini Jaime, he goes to the arcade all the time. He works at Best Buy, and he told me that Best Buy this year is doing a 48-hour sale on Thursday morning. So Black Friday is now Black Thursday, and he has to work like a shitload of hours during those 2 days. So I mean,
Right.
I heard it's gonna be crazy over there, and yeah, I'm not looking forward to. I mean, I'm never really into that. The one time I ever fucking did that, one year with Cynic, this must have been so long
Oh,
ago.
Cynic.
Cynic and I went to Best Buy. And I wanted to have a chair with me, so I took my mom's lawn chair, and she really didn't want me to take it. I was like, "Don't worry about it, you know, it's cool. I'll bring it back." So I took my lawn chair, and I was sitting over there. It was cold as fuck with Cynic. He didn't have a chair because he didn't think ahead. And you know what happened is I turned around and I went to take a leak and looked back, and someone had fucking stolen my mom's lawn chair. I remembered how pissed
What?
she got. I mean, she was infuriated because she said it's gonna get stolen, and it ended up getting stolen. And the most fucked up thing
Oh
about this
man.
whole story is the only thing I bought at that Best Buy sale was this shitty ass CRT TV for $50. It was huge, but it was like the brand was like
Oh,
fucking.
CRTs.
It was called like Toby or some shit, the brand.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I brought that home, and in the process of moving it from, it was big. It was one of those big, heavy, fake Sony Vega type of things. And in the process of moving it, I broke the window in my mom's living room. It's a huge ass
Oh
window.
my
I
goodness.
broke the whole fucking thing. It shattered to pieces, and that ended up costing me $300 to fix. So the shitty ass TV that I stayed overnight with Cynic to get the lawn chair jacked with ended up costing me $350. So I totally had not thought of that until you mentioned this.
Oh my goodness.
And you'll notice, Beal, I tend to go on tangents here, so forgive me. But
And
proceed.
you never went to Black Friday with Cynic ever again, right?
Yeah, fuck Cynic and fuck Black Friday at Best Buy. You know what? I'll pay the extra $20 and buy it on, Brown Tuesday or whatever, any other day.
Oh, speaking of Cynic, you just reminded me of a piece of Tekken news that I just came up across.
Mm-hmm.
So Harada put out a tweet saying if he gets 1,000 retweets, he'll put this new character that he designed into Tekken, part of Tekken Revolution. So I'll put the link up.
Cool. Wow.
It's a very interesting character, actually.
How do you know how do you put links up while you're doing other stuff? You must be a master of the internet.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit. Before we started the show, I was mentioning how shitty I am at doing all this stuff. And Beal, without, he wholeheartedly said that I'm better than most. So, boom, take that shit, internet. I'm not really that good, but I'm better than fucking Jimmy J. Tran, that's for sure. I own that guy in internet use. But anyway, so yeah, speaking of Revolution, I guess tweet that if you want. Flying Wonky put a post up on the site saying that Armor King and Jun are being released for that. So that's cool. I mean, they just keep dumping characters into that game, which at this point, it almost feels like they're going to put every character in that game. Like,
But based on the way they're releasing the characters, I think they're trying to do what they should have done with Tekken by lowering the character count. So they lower the character count so people get used to those characters so they're not overwhelmed. And right now, Armor King and Jun are basically, you know, the spin-offs of King and, well, in Tekken Tag 2, it's the spin-offs of King and Asuka, which are already in Tekken Revolution. So by putting these two new characters out, it's not going to be overwhelming for these new players.
I've heard a lot of people say, well, I don't want to play this anymore. There's too many characters. I've heard that multiple times. So I don't know. And those of you, I mean, a lot of you out there who are watching this know the Armor King is not a lot like King, and Jun is not that much like Asuka or Oscar or whatever. I mean,
but the hands of those girls playing Tekken Revolution, it's pretty much the same.
I guess so. They have one move or two moves that they share, but yeah, I don't really know. At this point, I haven't played Tekken Revolution in a while. Personally, I'm more interested in Tekken Tag 2 because of the local tournament scene. And speaking of which, yesterday, internet, I don't know if you guys caught it, but Wednesday Night Fights yesterday was a fucking Duesenberg of a tournament. It was wild. Top 3 was streamed. I was able to do commentary with Ricksta at first, and then he tagged in Tasty Steve. And top 3 was between Tekken, Gingerbread Man Tim, Sonkin, and Just Frame James. And boy, it was crazy. It was just a grand tale, you know. It was really fun to watch. There was a lot of people behind me doing when I was doing commentary. There was a lot of people behind me, and everyone was jumping around, yelling. They made so many fucking mistakes. It was crazy. If you were to count the mistakes, I'm sure you would be shocked because it was endless. From both of them, from all 3 of them, everyone just made so many mistakes. But the mistakes is what caused the matches to be so exciting and shit. And you were there, Beal, right?
I wish they added in a third mic just for MYK. Because he was going ballistic.
Yeah, Mike was acting a fool, dude. Because, you know, Mike, he's one of those guys similar to Jimmy J. Tran that he knows a lot of information about the game. So if something's minus 14 and goes punished with a 10-frame punish, he's the guy that's going to call that out every time. He knows a lot of the frame data. So you can imagine him watching all these mistakes. I mean, I'm sure Mr. Naps, if he was watching it, he probably was like BL at Evolution 2004. Throwing up all over his mouth. There were so many mistakes. It was just, but again, the mistakes are what made it exciting because the comebacks were absurd. I mean, Sonkin was praying to God after a while. It was too good. And then Reality, he tweeted me during the tournament because I mentioned that Sonkin's face looks like some kind of rodent. He tweeted me a picture of this fucking rodent that looks just like Sonkin. I gotta find it for you, internet. I gotta find it. Hold on.
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah, I gotta find that. It can't be too hard to find. You guys won't regret it. Where is this shit? Reality. Here it is. I already found it. Nope, that's not it. Where is this shit? There it is. It's some kind of animal called Kuoka. It looks just like him, dude. Look at this trolly-ass rodent. It's so funny, dude. Anyway, so yeah, that was really hilarious, and I don't want to spoil it for you guys, spoiler alert, but this rodent ended up winning, and you know, one thing I wanted to mention that is interesting to me, Sonkin has now won 2 Wednesday Night Fights. The first one was a while ago. Now, you know, in between last time and this time, like a few weeks ago, he came up to me after beating me, and he asked me, "Hey, Eris, do you think I'm good at Tekken?" And he was dead serious. And of course, the first thing I did was laugh. I mean, what kind of a question is that to ask me, you know? So I'm an honest person, and at that time, I thought to myself, well, be honest. No, I don't think you're that good at Tekken. I think you know how to beat me every time. And when I said that, I could see in his face that it affected him. Okay, Sonkin, I'm sorry if this was like a doctor-patient privileges type of a thing, but you know, I think it's relevant for people to hear. Anyway, so I could tell that he was, affected by me saying that I don't think he's that good. I explained to him, I had defense. I explained to him exactly what I think he needs to do to be better. And I also told him that, in my opinion, to show that you're really exceptionally decent at a fighting game, you have to win in a local more than once in a row. That's really how you can solidify it. Because anyone really can win a tournament as long as you're a solid player, you can have a good day, and the other good players can have a bad day. So, especially in terms of a weekly, it's not that hard to win one weekly if you're a good player. However, it's extremely, or not extremely, but much harder to win back-to-back. Because everyone who saw you win last time is thinking, oh, this sack of shit thinks he's good, huh? And they're all going to be gunning for you. So, historically, I've always felt this way. Winning 2 back-to-back locals, I told him this too, is really what, and consistency in general, is really what makes you a good player, at least in my eyes. So after having this conversation with him, I just really noticed that this guy really wants to get better and be good. So the reason I brought all this stuff up is, and I'm going to take his picture off the screen because it's starting to get on my nerves. But the reason I brought all this stuff up is a lot of people shit on this guy a lot. Like, everyone talks shit. How did you guys let this guy win? How did this happen? And I have to give him some credit. He's really trying very hard, and he's trying to become good. And it's very natural for the older generation of a game to hate on the newer generation. And I remember precisely when people like Tom Hilfiger and Arario and those kinds of top players were shitting on the next generation of players. I clearly remember that. Like, I remember when people would quit, like Tom Hilfiger or Devil X or whoever, they would quit playing Tekken, and then the other OG players would also quit playing Tekken, and they would say something like, why the fuck would I play Tekken? Who am I going to beat? Who am I going to play against? Chetty or whatever, whatever name. So it's like, this is historically what happens. This always happens. The OG guy shits on the new guy, and that's basically what gets new guys to be better. And so this is the next evolution. This is the new game, and I genuinely can say that Sonkin, he's getting pretty decent. He's beating people, And another guy, Tekken Tim, he's starting to get pretty consistent and beating people too. So, nice job, guys. You guys are both rodents in my book, but nice job. Go ahead, Beal. Go ahead.
Giving up to Sonkin, Tekken Tim, Tasty Steve.
Yeah, Steve
really
also.
Well.
Steve has been really, these guys, you can tell when you talk to them about Tekken, they're just really, they want to get better, they want to improve, and they want to compete. So it's really about that, that itch, that rash that you want to scratch, you want to win, you want to beat these people, and you have to get ointment. Otherwise, it's just really, it's important to you to win. And I can see it in some of these players. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's cool to see how those guys are motivated, and then on the other hand, you have like your cynics and Rickstas who are just
me too. Around. I'm not motivated either. I mean, I'd say you're not motivated either. I don't see you fucking winning. How many Wednesday night fights have you won so far?
I almost beat people.
Yeah, well, you beat me one time, I think.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Don't ask me. Anyway, I was out of hydrocortisone that day, I guess. But yeah, I mean, Sonkin, he won. Everyone's gonna be gunning for him next week. Either that or no one's gonna show up next week. The only two possibilities are people are gonna say, oh, Sonkin thinks he's hot shit, I'm gonna go to Wednesday night fights and kick his ass, or they're gonna think, wow, so Sonkin's winning these days, huh? I'm just talking trash, but either way, nice work, impressive. And a few bitch callings, that reminds me of this too. A few bitch callings ago, I called that guy Chris a bitch, and he won his first Wednesday night fights recently too. So it's pretty cool seeing newish players or players who have not succeeded in the past start to do better. I like to see it. I like to see that. It just shows that fighting games are not dead and that there is a new generation of people coming up and taking the baton away from people. That's cool. That's just one thing I wanted to mention. You have
Jimmy
anything to add to that?
He's come to Wednesday night fights next week.
What?
Jimmy said he's going next week.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know
Really?
if you mean it.
Hey, Jimmy, where are you staying? Make it snappy. Interesting. This is the first time I'm communicating with the chat during the show,
Oh, what
but
a
I
troll.
think it's important information. Is he trolling?
He might be trolling. Oh, what a
Um,
troll.
Beal, this is your fault. I don't usually read the chat. You know,
I'm sorry.
this is basically your fault. And internet, unfollow Jimmy J Tran on Twitter for not going to Wednesday Night Fights.
God damn it, Jimmy.
Don't ever try to make a joke, dude. You know how I feel about that. Anyway, so the big news for me, I've been playing it the last few days. Soul Calibur 2 HD Online came out. You know what? I was
We're
going to
so
give...
excited for it.
I still am excited for it. I can't wait to stop talking to Beal so I could go play this game. I'm really excited for it. But I was going to give my opinions first. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and let you tell me what you think about the game and what you've noticed thus far. And I'll chime in when needed. Go ahead.
All right, let me pull up my outline.
Ooh, outline. Unbelievable.
So, before the game came out, I noticed a few signs that might point out that there would be issues with this game, foreshadowing, if you will. The first sign is that the Xbox Live release of Soul Calibur 1 was completely bare bones. It was actually a stripped-down release with a pretty high price tag. They actually removed features. So, I mean, that's sign number one of how they treat the franchise.
Hold on a second. Soul Calibur 1 is available on Xbox One?
Xbox
On
Live,
Xbox
which is
Live?
on the 360.
It's not on PlayStation?
No, it's an Xbox Live exclusive.
Dude, that's fucked up. How much does it cost?
I forgot. I think it's over $10. So
I would buy that in a second, by the way. I would buy that in 1 second. Soul Calibur
did buy
1
it.
with you bought it, right? I told you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
knew it. I would buy that in 1 second. I was streaming the other day. I'm a tangent kind of guy. But I was streaming the other day and I was hearing people in the chat room talking shit about how this game costs $20 and they're not happy with the price tag because of whatever. And I was saying, in my life I've seen people spend over $20 on fucking wall scrolls. Wall scrolls. What the fuck is a wall scroll anyway? It's got to be the dumbest idea ever. What the fuck is you probably have wall scrolls, right, Beal?
yeah.
How many wall
I got
scrolls do you
those.
have?
A
A shitload of wall scrolls, right? You probably have a room for that shit. Oh boy, they're within hand's reach. Okay, you probably buy wall scrolls for things that you like either games or animes or whatever, right? And I'm sure those wall scrolls cost more than $20, at least sometimes. So how dare anyone complain about spending $20 on an actual video game that you play? You don't play a wall scroll. What the fuck is a wall scroll? So anyway, that's just how I feel about that. I would buy Soul Calibur 1 in a heartbeat for $15 or $20. That would be sick, Anyway, go on, Beal.
Let me go on. All right. The second sign was the announcement of single player only Lost Souls with premium tickets. It seems like they're focusing on the single player casual players. So whenever they do that, they're basically cashing in on that franchise. Even Tekken Revolution had multiplayer, but Soul Calibur is just single player for the Lost Souls release. The third sign was that it was announced that it was going to be the PAL version. Now, whenever the players already know that the PAL version is glitchy. So when they announce that it's the PAL version instead of the better, less glitchy North American version, it's a sign that they outsourced it to shitty, cheap European developers.
You don't have to be so abrasive. Shitty, cheap. There could be high quality European developers. Doesn't some French guys make Assassin's Creed? I've seen them. They talk about fromage and shit all the time.
Legit.
Yeah, see, it could happen anyway. Yeah, I mean, let me chime in on that statement you made there. Personally speaking, when I heard that it was the PAL version, I really could not remember what the differences were. And over time, people reminded me of the differences, and a few of them are Ivy has a move that becomes unblockable and relatively kind of cheap, and it's not supposed to be unblockable. Killick and Sung Mina can guard cancel their kick after it connects with the opponent, giving them a 3B for free and plus frames on block. Valdo has some kind of trick where he can cancel out of Mantis Crawl with guard unnaturally when he's not supposed to be able to. And there's another one that was important too.
The Maxi 3B plus K.
Maxi move 3B plus K, which in the PAL version has bonus damage and knocks down. So basically all these things I said, and I'm sure there are tons more differences, all those things are buffs. None of them are nerfs. So all this really does to me is moves around the tier list. For a game that's so old, we might as well have some fun with it anyway, right? Personally, right. I feel like the PAL version thing, in a way, is kind of refreshing because I played the fuck out of the NTSC version when I was a kid, and this gives me some new interesting things to try out. So as far as I'm concerned, PAL version is fine by me. Beal, proceed.
All right, and the last one I wanted to point out was that they actually announced the no dual language as well. But for them to not have no dual language, if the original version had dual language, means they actually took it out. So the way I see it working out was some manager or management thought that a small download file size is more important. So they're like, hey, how do we really lower the size of the file? And the devs were like, we could take out the second language, and he's like, make it so.
Okay.
They didn't talk to fans whether they wanted it or not.
Okay, first of all, if the fans agree with you, fuck the fans. I would much rather the file size of this game be smaller than for me to hear some Taiwanese voices. The best part of Soul Calibur is hearing the guys talk shit as you play. Tastes like hell. Your form is poor. You disappoint me. I love that shit. That's the best part of Soul Calibur. It's really the one thing that separates it from Tekken. So as far as I'm concerned, that's another bullshit complaint. We should have a debate here, Beal. I don't like that complaint. Smaller file size is great with me. Proceed.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the signs I have. But we can move on to talk about the pros and cons of the game.
Go ahead. That's just what I mean. Just talk about what you think.
All right, first the cons. I'm just gonna list it out. The netcode is kind of disappointing, especially after Tekken Revolution, Tekken Tag 2, and Soul Calibur 5. It feels like a giant step back. They don't show the connection bars either, so you can't decide like, hey, you do want to play against this guy with like a 1-bar connection. It doesn't feel like the 5-bar setting actually works. You still get connected to some guy in Great Britain.
Yeah.
There's no lobbies, so whenever you finish a match, you're immediately kicked back out to the main menu. There's no rematch option.
You mean the friend match?
Invite.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if BL sends me an invite and I want to play BL, first to 10, we have to send 10 invites. So that is fucked up. I totally agree with that. And the thing you mentioned about the plus 5-bar thing, I don't know what exactly the term netcode means when it comes to a game as far as is the matchmaking a part of the netcode or not? Do you know the answer to that, Beal?
It could be.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on how to develop it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like, and because I played you in a player match, Beal, via an invite, I felt like that match we had felt really good. So if the connection can be that good, I don't know if that means the netcode is good or bad, or the matchmaking is good or bad, because when I do ranked, I'm constantly playing against people from Germany and shit. Why would that even happen? I don't even understand why that would even happen. But you're right.
It's because they don't have any region separation in their matchmaking.
Terrible. That is a super mooey shitty idea. The implementation of the online is crap. Feces, curly turds.
It's just design issues, basically.
There's no rank, so all you're doing is chomping on player points the whole time. And the way it works is brutal, because if you have, let's say, like the way I had, 3,000 plus player points, and the game decides to match you with some douchebag from, who knows where, anywhere, Brazil. French, Brazil or whatever, and he has like 1 or 0 player points. Sometimes they have no player points. And if I lose to him, I lose like 300 player points. But if I had beaten him, I get like 15. So this is retarded. And you can't even decide, like when you say, hey, let me get similar ranks or let me get higher ranks. It doesn't even give a fuck about what you say. It does whatever it wants, you know? So anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead.
one of the complaints I was gonna say was it didn't save your search settings. So you have to redo them every time.
Yeah.
But apparently the search settings don't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's why you can't save them, because they're just, it's an illusion, you know?
They're like fixed switches, like power switches that don't turn anything on or off.
Yeah, exactly. Placebo and shit. I don't know what's the deal. I don't know why they didn't do the connection quality during the match too. What's up with that? You know, I agree. Though I have to say, the first day that I got it, the first session that I put up online, I had a great time playing in ranked, and I did get a lot of good matches. However, after that, which was, you know, today, I really got terrible matches. I mean, it went downhill to nothing. It was crap. So
yeah, we're playing on PSN, and I hear that Xbox Live isn't much better either.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing too, which is super lame. And I noticed Wonky mentioned in the chat, and this is a huge complaint too. Ranked online is 2 out of 3 rounds. What the fuck? And another thing is that you can't skip through the intros or the winning cutscenes, which I don't really mind too much because they're so cool. But I could see it getting annoying after a while. The only thing is the matches at 2 out of 3 rounds last like 10 seconds. So you might as well watch them anyway. It's so quick. But I don't know. I agree. It's a really, as everyone's been mentioning, it's a really kind of a bogus implementation of online. But again, it doesn't matter to me, because even if the game didn't even have online, I would most certainly get it, just for the same reason someone would spend more than $20 on a wall scroll. You know, what the fuck is a wall scroll? I can't believe it. You know, and then people don't want to spend $20 on a game that you play. Someone made it with HD graphics. It looks nice. You know, it has a practice mode and modes that work. Wall scrolls don't have any modes. They don't have anything. They have a fucking thing that you hang on your dumb wall and you look at it, you know? And then you take down when a girl's going to come over. I mean, what the fuck is a wall scroll, you know? It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I really am happy with my purchase. But anyway, go ahead.
One of my big complaints about this is about the online play is that it doesn't have a... You know, like in Tekken Tag 2, whenever you see a guy with a high disconnect, you're like, oh no, I don't want to play this guy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that in here, so you're playing against a rage quitter, and when they rage quit, you're stuck frozen on that screen for 2 minutes.
And not to mention that it's also very you can save yourself from losing player points if you rage quit, right?
Yeah, there's no disconnect penalty.
Yeah, there's zero penalty for rage quitting, which is retarded.
If you get disconnected on, you're penalized because you're stuck there.
Yeah, yep. It's pretty wild. But, you know, again, this is basically... I don't know if this is something that they could fix. I'm not sure if they're willing to, but I saw... I don't think... Was it you, BL, earlier that tweeted that the producer of the game or the guy on Twitter was like, hey, HD Online is out. How are you liking your online battles, internet, or whatever?
No message.
That shit was pretty funny because nobody's liking the online.
That was such a troll treat.
I know. It's like he's never even played his own game. Unbelievable. But yeah, anything else to mention about the game? I mean, one gripe I have, which...
I actually do have pros about the game.
Okay, I'm listening.
So the game actually has pretty good load times. For those other so they actually spent time developing it at that part at least. So for the single player content, it's completely fine despite the power glitches. It's a fully featured for offline play at least. I mean, when you compare online play to other games like HD Remix, Third Strike, or Darkstalkers, you can tell that the Capcom actually spent way more time developing designing than Namco did on this.
You know, you just brought something to my mind that is extremely important, okay?
Oh, really?
I gotta say that the one thing that this game did right is the one thing that literally is the deal breaker. And I expected it to do it wrong. And that is, offline seems to have no lag. And historically, every single HD remake they've made has had lag offline. Third Strike, when that game came out, I was so excited because those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Street Fighter 3 Third Strike fan. I love that game. When it came out, I was one of the first. I had it immediately. Downloaded it, and the second I played it offline, just in practice mode, I knew playing Akuma, something was wrong. This is not a good version of the game. And, of course, it turns out that it is not a good version of the game. Confirmed by great, Third Strike players. They're like, yeah, this shit is whack. So... And then you look back at, okay, you may say that's a 2D game, Eris. Let's talk about a 3D game. Tekken Hybrid, and I mentioned this on my stream earlier, that if you're going to talk about funky ripoffs, that thing was weird. You know, it came with a movie that nobody gives a shit about. It came with a demo of Tekken Tag 2, which only contained a couple of characters. And then it came with an HD version of Tekken Tag 1, which seemed awesome. I was very excited about that. However, not only did it not have any type of online, which let's forget that, the offline mode of the HD version of Tekken Tag 1 was literally unplayable due to latency. Not to mention half of the stages would like collapse under their own pressure. That game was just trash. From launch, you couldn't even play it. So, and I bought that. And I spent like $35 on it. So to me, I'm thinking to myself, I don't even remember how much it was. Maybe it was $40. I don't even remember how much it was. But to me, it's like this.
Full price.
Yeah, exactly, right? What the fuck? So over here, Soul Calibur 2 comes out, and, offline, it functions well. Beal, you could come over, we could play offline, and we could enjoy ourselves and reminisce about this game that we like.
We could play it on an HD console with our PS3 sticks.
PS3 arcade sticks, precisely. So, personally speaking, that is worth way more than good online. I personally would much rather the offline be functioning than the online to be functioning and the offline to be laggy. At least we have a nice versus mode in a nice HD package. Looks good. Those of you who are interested in the single player value of the game, the nostalgia's there. Personally speaking, it's less of a ripoff than HD Hybrid or whatever that thing was called. And I bought that, what are you going to do? Sometimes you get ripped off. In this case, I don't think it's really a ripoff. I think it's more like a fuck up that it's still worth it. That's how I see it.
One last thing I want to mention that I found funny was that someone actually did a comparison of a GameCube emulator compared to the HD release, and I'll put the screens up.
I want to see that. Let me click this shit. Beal, you're on point with the
they're
links.
Not clickable, but yeah, those are image links.
Not clickable.
And you can compare them side by side and see like which one you think actually looks better.
Hey, how do I do online? This? What do I got to do? Copy this shit into here? Paste.
Yeah, chat. Let us know. What do you think looks better?
Is this gonna be a joke?
No, it's not. It's an actual.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. Where do I copy it from? The H?
No. The copy from the HTTP.
The what?
Starting with HTTP.
Listen, I think I know what I'm doing. Okay.
All right.
Is that the same picture? That shit looks the same. No, this one's worse, right? Is this a joke? I feel like I got baited. Either way, it looks fine to me. What's the point? What's the punchline?
Oh, the punchline was that the GameCube emulator actually sort of looks better.
Oh, really? They looked kind of the same.
Yeah, if you go back and forth, you see the textures are actually sharper on the emulator.
Well, you know what? I need glasses, so I can't even probably tell the difference anyway. But
yeah.
Whatever. Either way, the wall scroll argument stands. If you're a fan of the series, I recommend it still, and I am very pleased with my purchase. I can't wait to play it. I'm really excited. Just yesterday at like 3 a.m., Nick, who might be in the chat, 2 memes, he called me at 3 a.m. and he was like, dude, are you awake? I found some shit with Spawn. I went on 8-way run. I don't think anyone's discovered this shit yet. He's all excited and shit, and I'm like, that is tight. That's tight.
Like brand new technology from like years ago.
That's what I'm
Years
saying.
ago.
Why not, dude? Well, I never played Spawn. I tested him out recently. He's cool. We have Heihachi on there. We have all of the other characters that were on the game. And on top of that, it's the PAL version. So there is a ton of funky, buggy shit. Your character, who you may have been disappointed with back 10 years ago, may have something now in this PAL version that's extremely good. This is the first time in 20-something episodes that I've gotten a phone call that wasn't muted. But anyways, I thought I'd make a big point of it.
Yeah, we might discover some new stuff in this new version. Well,
Yeah.
basically, since no one really played it as the PAL version as much as the NTSC version, so the PAL version might actually have a lot more of undiscovered country.
Beal, I don't even know what you just said. What did you just say? Sometimes you get too rowdy. Okay, let's take it back.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm saying that the PAL version is basically undiscovered country because we played the NTSC version so much and discovered everything in there.
Right.
But the PAL version is.
I mean, another thing that I was talking about before when this shit was even announced is it's possible that the NTSC version wasn't even explored thoroughly enough because there was no YouTube at the time, so people didn't share their information well. And you know that sharing information is what inspires. Like, you know, people finding new strategies and bugs and tactics, that is like usually an inspirational process. So the way it works for me is I'll look at some kind of YouTube video and I'll see, oh shit, you know, this character can do this interesting thing here where you can manipulate tag assault and do a sandwich combo, for example. Well, then you think, oh, what can I do with my character that can also use this same type of a theory but with another character or whatever, what have you. This type of a inspiration to then find new tactics and strategies is really what makes a game age and develop correctly or currently with today's times, you know, and today's available internet, you know, what do you call it? Like material that you can search for, you know? And that game never really had an accurate visual aid, you know, like YouTube is such a huge thing. So to me, it's possible that game wasn't even developed. And now we have this interesting new PAL version. And man, I mean, Maxi getting a knockdown low is great. Why not? Maxi sucked
Amazing.
6 dicks, you know, in the NTSC version. And the knockdown low that he got is not that broken or anything. It's just a good low, you know, solid low. Other characters have that low. Mitsu has down falling leaf or whatever. It's like the same
It's
shit.
like a pretty visible though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's. I think it's unseeable as far as speed goes, but you know, it's basically a good buff, you know. And who cares, really? I mean, what's the problem? Are you unhappy because it's going to be at Evo? I don't know. I don't even think it's going to be at Evo. Actually, though, I did hear while watching players play this game at the break, they were saying that it's going to be at NEC. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Did you know that, Beal?
What's up? Sorry, I was talking in chat.
Yeah, I know. That's against the rules. You can't talk to them.
Okay.
They're strangers.
All right, I ignore them. All right, what's up?
I don't remember. You see, this is the problem. You know, I have a very
Chat, what
thin.
did you say?
I'm on thin ice over here with attention span, and if you throw a wrench in the gears for a moment, everything collapses. Okay, so that's why you have to ignore the chat. You know, they have all kinds of meat spin links and dicks
Tekken
everywhere and shit.
NEC.
Not Tekken. Fucking Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2 is gonna be at NEC. Is it NEC? It's
Soul
NEC,
Calibur?
right?
I think that's the next one, yeah.
Yeah, NEC, Soul Calibur 2, and Soul Calibur 5 are going to be there. So that's cool. That's a major tournament, and we'll see how that goes. I also heard that Super Arcade is going to be holding a Soul Calibur 2 tournament at some point. If you guys out there are interested in seeing Soul Calibur 2 at Wednesday Night Fights, there's only one thing to do. Ask for it. You know, ask Alex Valle, ask Alex Valle, Axe Commando, and you know that's the only way it's gonna happen because there are people that will play it, you know. And if games are gonna be held, if tournaments are gonna be held with 10 entrants, then why the fuck are we not gonna have Soul Calibur 2 there? I'm sure we would get at least 10 entrants, you know. I mean, half of the Tekken players would enter. So, you know, I basically my point is Beal, how many meat spins would you give the game, the whole package overall?
Whole package, I would give it 5 meat spins out of 10.
5 meat spins out of 10? That's an F.
Because it's basically half of it is done right and half of it needs work. half of it is done right and half of it needs work. Half of it is.
Why did that echo? What did you do?
What?
Why am I getting an echo? What did I do?
What?
Why am I getting an echo?
Why is it echoing, echoing? What? Why is it echoing, echoing? Nah, fucking with you. I'm just repeating myself.
Beal, that was crazy. Don't ever do that again. Because there was an echo. And then you actually did a fake echo. So that really fucking freaked me out a little bit. I was like, oh, God, Time Warner. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, Time Warner. Dude, lately they've been really fucking with me. And someone, a couple people actually, sent me a link to this South Park clip of the kids going to their local cable company and the guy from the cable company, like, taking such a gross pleasure rubbing his nipples over these guys being upset. And it was just like, first of all, it was unsettling watching that because it really feels like the guys over at Time Warner are rubbing each other's nipples at how pissed off I am. And secondly, just the number of frames they had for the rubbing of the nipples was just absurd. It was just really like gross. I did not like watching that one bit. It was super gross.
But it's so accurate.
It is. Perhaps that's why it's so unsettling to watch that. But yeah, it was basically Time Warner owns me for free. What the fuck were we even talking about before that echo totally ruined my Christmas? What was that? What were we talking about?
Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah, you give it 5 meat spins? That's absurd. So you don't recommend that people buy it?
Actually, I recommend that. Well, I mean, I want people to buy it to support the scene, but it's like it feels a lot like a cash grab to me.
Hey, would you cash grab that wall scroll you had in your hands and tell me how much that cost?
I got that for free, but I bought wall scrolls for like $10.
Okay, so you're telling me that Soul Calibur 2 HD Online is not worth 2 of your $10 wall scrolls? The product, as a product, if you put
content nowadays. For digital content nowadays, $20 is a lot, especially with like Steam sales and digital sales, PS Plus. I don't know.
Well, I personally give it probably out of 10 meat spins. I mean, who gives a shit about online? I almost want to say like less than like 9 because I don't think anything can be perfectly 10 meat spins. 10 meat spins is like omnipotent. You can't be.
Yeah, if it's just based on offline content, I'll give it like 8.5 meat spins.
You know, I mean, it's hard to just base it off of offline content because the word online is in the title of the game. So,
yeah,
I agree with you. Okay, so this is the way I'll put it. Personally speaking, if you really, really care about the online, if that's what the deal breaker is, you may not want to buy it. I mean, that's the truth. You may not want to buy it because the online sucks like tons of dicks, spinning dicks everywhere, and you know it's rough. But the offline content is impressive. The graphics look good. The sound quality is really good. The menus look great. Everything looks cool. I wish record mode existed in the practice mode so I could do more thorough tutorials. But obviously, I'm very biased, and I love this game very much, and I'm totally enjoying it thoroughly. I've spent more money on games that I've liked for less time already, and you know, like Assassin's Creed 1, that game sucked. Unbelievably bad. That game sucked so bad. Jumping into bales of hay. I paid $60 for that piece of shit. That game sucked. They're chasing you, and it's like a hectic moment, and 4 priests walk by, and you just walk and stand next to them, and then it's like, oh, these morons don't even see me. It was sweet. What the fuck is up with that? You know, it was just like a really terrible game, and they charged $60 for that.
Good.
I don't care if the new one's good. The point is that game cost me $60, and it was a piece of shit right when I put it inside my PlayStation. So, you know, I don't know. Take from that whatever you would like, but I'm enjoying it very much. I don't know how many meat spins I give it because if it were me, I'm giving it 10 meat spins. I love it. Totally biased opinion. I love it.
Yeah, originally I kind of regretted my purchase, but the more I played it, the more I was like, it's not that bad.
Aren't
it might
you
be a little
fun?
bit of. I'm having fun. Yeah, I mean this was one of my favorite games, so it's still as fun as it is what used to be.
Well, that for me, I didn't play this game while during its period of being dead. You know, I never touched it. We never pulled it out. I mean, I've hung out with Dan like just about every weekend, you know, forever, you know, and we
Right.
never played. We never played. So for me, this is like opening up my childhood. And I know a lot of people out there are the same way. I'm looking at the leaderboards for the online, and I'm seeing people that I haven't seen for 10 years. Beal, I've known you for
Goofus.
10 years. The other day, Too Hectic was in the chat room. This guy, he was the
Yeah.
webmaster of guardimpact.com. This shit was 10 years ago, you know? So if anything, the HD release of this game is really bringing back a lot of interesting people and people that don't really play anymore, you know? And I mean, to me, it's really cool. I'm enjoying it very much. Obviously, I'm very biased, so, you know, take that with a
Yeah,
grain of salt.
it feels like a reunion of sorts. I mean, you see people like Baines and Too Hectic just coming back up out of the woodwork.
Goofus, Killick Beast. I remember that guy. I bought that guy. I bought that guy. I took that guy from the airport. I picked him up from the airport when he came for Evolution in 2004. I remember that guy.
Yeah, I played against Enkindu.
Yeah, and Kindu, you know, classic Divinicus. I remember all this, you know, so it's really cool. Really, I mean, it's enjoyable thus far.
Oh, our video seems to have,
What's
but
that?
no video. People saying no video? Oh, people trying to chat again? Oh, I ignored them. All right, what?
What did I tell you about looking at the chat, Beal? What did I tell you?
All right. Okay.
Anyway, see what happens. You tell me about that, and then you know you derail the whole thing. That's the rule. You gotta not look at the chat. It's the rule. Anyway, you have a bitch calling for today, Beal?
Actually, yes, I do. Remember back when at Wednesday Night Fights when the DOA community was saying that Tekken was dead, we're gonna completely beat Tekken just because they beat us in turnout for like one Wednesday Night Fights.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, so I just posted up the link
Son of a
to
bitch.
their
I guess
tournament
the
bracket.
son of a video was down.
What?
All right. Well, let's see how this goes. Anyway, I don't know how that's gonna work out, but go ahead. Who's your bitch?
Oh, basically posted up the tournament bracket for Wednesday Night Fights for Dead or Alive.
Okay.
So the Dead or Alive community is a bitch because there was not enough people for a tournament.
When yesterday?
For Yeah, and Tekken filled out a full 16-man bracket.
Oh, really? I thought there was only 14 people. Good shit. Good shit to Sonkin for winning a decently sized weekly. I already mentioned that earlier. Who's my bitch?
So yeah, Dead or Alive's dead. So I'm hoping that Valle and Watson are gonna replace Dead or Alive with something.
You
And
know
hit
why
Soul
they
Calibur
had
7.
Dead or Alive internet? The reason they had Dead or Alive is because Tecmo gobbled on Valle's dick a little bit. You know, they sent him a bunch
a
of
little bit.
copies, and I don't know what his personal relationship is with Tecmo, but they're supporting his stream. So, you know, I mean,
Alright.
you know, he's going to lean in that direction, of course, because the company is asking him to. It makes sense. You know, but that doesn't mean that we can't have Soul Calibur there. So if you want to have Soul Calibur at Wednesday Night Fights, the only way I can think of is asking for it. You know,
Yes.
I asked for it. You know, and if more people ask for it, the answer I got was we're planning on doing a event in the future. We don't know when, but it's gonna have Soul Calibur 2 and Soul Calibur 5, which is all fine and dandy. But yeah, I would like to see it at Wednesday Night Fights as well. So if enough people ask for it, you know, and showing up. Socrates is right. Showing up is extremely important as well, which I don't think will be a problem because half of the Tekken players are going to be interested in that anyway.
Yeah.
So
My problem with the weekend tournament thing is that it's not happening soon enough. I mean, this weekend is gonna be RTSD, and then the next weekend is gonna be the Ultra test.
yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait at least 3 weeks while the game's just simmering in the background.
Yeah, that's true. So, I don't know. I think it would be nice to have it next Wednesday. I don't know if that will happen. I'm sure it's very unlikely, but we'll see.
We'll see if any Dead or Alive players show up.
Yeah, I guess so. They didn't have one last week, so it's basically a matter of that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, honestly, why it's a big deal, even if they have Dead or Alive. Who cares? It's not like, there's a million people in Super Arcade. Why not hold more
Yeah.
games? I don't know. That's how I feel about it, but I don't really know too much about that stuff. Damn, I don't even know who to call a bitch. I guess I'll call Ricksta a bitch, because first of all, I didn't get to play him yesterday. I really wanted to because both of us have been playing a lot of online, and I wanted to see who would come out on top with just online matches. But I lost before I got to him, and he lost before he got to me. So that's gay. Also, he wasn't able to be on the show, and I think he would have really enjoyed talking shit to you, Beal, on the show. That would.
Oh yeah.
You guys are always bickering at each other, so that would have been fun. So Ricksta, he's definitely my bitch this week. Beal, huge thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate